in the Classic, you're riding Clubman. You've ridden this horse before. You piloted him to a win 2 starts back. What kind of horse is he to ride, and especially now stretching out to the mile and an 8?
I think the distance will not be a problem. I mean, he's a really nice horse, and you can place him wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable. And the main thing with him is just kind of wait as long as we can with him.
All right, so there's jockey Julian Pimentel, one of our leading jockeys here in Maryland, one of the leading jockeys all time for Maryland Million wins. He won 3 on Ben's Cat, and he's on the favorite today, the 2-1 favorite Clubman in the feature, the $150,000 Maryland Million Classic. Hello, welcome to a special early morning edition of Today at the Races presented by Fidelity First. It's Maryland's Day at the Races. The Jim McKay Maryland Million is here. I'm Stan Salter, our odds maker Keith Fusel, Acacia Courtney. We have a great show, lots of videos, lots of picks, lots of winners hopefully to give out on Maryland's Day at the Races.
We're certainly going to try, but one thing's for sure, you're going to have a great day. Hopefully you're coming out to join us today. The weather is beautiful, and just start to finish, it always is so much fun at Maryland Million. It's really one of my favorite days of racing.
We couldn't ask for a better day. This is absolutely perfect. A little chill in the air right now. It's a beautiful fall day at Laurel Park. And, you know, the other day I was just kind of reminiscing a little bit, going back to the college days, Stan, thinking about Safely Kept and 38 Go-Go and some of those old Maryland Million races in the curl. So brings back a lot of memories each and every year, and things are getting bigger and better right now around here at Laurel Park, Pimlico. Some big news. I'm looking forward today. It's a good betting card, too, all the way through. Some good competitive races, and once again, big fields.
Absolutely. It could be a record-setting Maryland Million Day. We have the most horses entered today, so big fields, bunch of big fields on the world-class turf course. I think we did 5.7 million in handle last year, so we're aiming for 6 million in handle today. I think we can do it. Let's tell you what's going on. 12 races showcasing Maryland sired thoroughbred. Special first race post time is 12 o'clock. We have on-track events, a kids corral, a Maryland Million hat contest. The gates are open. Everybody's coming in right now. You get a free Maryland Million hat. If you buy a program, they run out after 4,000. So go to get a program, a nice glossy race program today for the Jim McKay Maryland Million Day. You get a hat, so you can't beat that. You go to the Silks Room for $10 for the day. That includes a live program and a Maryland Million hat. So go to laurelpark.com/Maryland Million. There's a lot of press releases on the website about all the horses running today. That's at laurelpark.com. Information on how to get tickets. All of our picks and tickets are up for today on the website, laurelpark.com, underneath the handicapping section. So let's get right to it. Lots of handicapping. Let's show you the tracks. We're fast and firm today. Beautiful weather. The weather is going to be one of the features today. It is going to be beautiful. We're on the all-along turf course, no rail, and the Dahlia turf course with the rail at 52 feet. So we're fast and firm. We're in the 60s, little cloud cover, but hopefully that sun comes out and makes it a perfect fall afternoon.
It's gorgeous. You can really just see in that shot there. So we're very lucky to have that. There was a little rain on Wednesday. We were off the turf Thursday and the sprints off yesterday, but I think that plus the wind we had should make the turf in perfect condition.
And we were dry here for a while. We needed a little bit of rain. That didn't hurt it one bit. The guys have done a great job. We've got some of the best track maintenance guys in the country here at Laurel Park in Pimlico, so I'm not really worried about that. The turf played pretty fair yesterday, firmed up nicely right after that rain. All the wind, as Acacia said, we're good to go.
All right, so here we go. Race one's going to kick off the rolling super high 5. That's a low 15% takeout. Little carryover in the opener, a little shy of 1,500. Race one also kicks off the popular early pick 5. It's a mandatory payout on this early pick 5. Industry low, 12% takeout. I have a ticket. Let's check it out real quick. I have two $64 pick 5 tickets today. You have to spend a little bit more. Bunch of big fields. I couldn't find a single. My single today, my best bet of the day is My Sister's Ledge in race 6. So I couldn't find a single here on the early pick 5, but I do like a 6-1 shot on top here. Race 1, the 1 Smokin' Caracana. I love it, 6-1, but the favorite's going to be tough in here. The 12 Jumpstart My Heart, but might get caught a little wide on the first turn. So I go 112 here in the opener. Race 2's the Maryland Million Nursery for 2-year-olds, $100,000 stake. I go 4 deep in there. So Street's a stakes winner already. My top pick's the favorite, Our Nation on Parade. Then Tommy Shelby and Laddie Liam could be tough there in race 2 of the Maryland Million Nursery. You can study that ticket some more online, laurelpark.com. Underneath the handicapping section, let's get right to race one. I'm excited about this race. A little $60,000 starter handicap for horses. This is for filly and mares here. Filly and mares in the opener. We're going 9 furlongs on the Dahlia turf course with the rail at 52 feet. The race one is the walk to end all-timers race, and I have the 6-1 shot on top here. Smokin' Caracana ran huge last out, late September. Beautiful ride by the crafty veteran Chucky C. Lopez up the rail. This 4-year-old daughter of Hunters Bay is improving right now. She's out of a Bernstein mare, so I like Smokin' Caracana. I think she gets another beautiful trip today.
You know, I was a little bit too tough on her. My question is that her better races have come around the mile distance. So the stretch out was going to be the question. But I thought that this first race was interesting because there's not really a clear pace setter.
No.
Usually we see Chucky Lopez very good on the front end, so maybe he's just going to take advantage of that and he might send.
Yeah.
So that might be the question. I did just think that Jumpstart My Heart has just kind of had the class and the experience at this distance.
Yeah, the mile and 8 I think is perfect for Jumpstart My Heart. She settled in to a really good position last time, looped the field 4 and 5 wide. Dale has been on a roll right now with some of these new turf acquisitions. I'm going to take her one more shot here. I think she likes the mile and 8, and I'm not worried about. There's not a lot of pace in this race. You know, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think her stamina is going to get her over the top. She can make a positional move, leaving the 3/8, and Sheldon can carry her home. But talking about the one, boy, she carved out a beautiful trip last time, standing from the 11 post outside, dropped to the rail, made a quick move into it. She had plenty left past the wire. Smokin' Caracana, an up-and-comer. But the two proven horses are the 10 and the 12.
All right, so big field, 9 furlongs on the turf to kick off the early pick 5. Let's turn the page. The stakes action starts race 2, the $100,000 Maryland Million Nursery for 2-year-olds. All Maryland sired 2-year-olds here in race 2, going 6 furlongs on the main track. The nursery sponsored by Fasig Tipton. I go with the favorite on top here, pick 4. Keith, you have the early pick 4. It starts in race 2. Let's check out your ticket.
Yeah, $24 ticket. We've got a single along the way. We're going to start it out with Our Nation on Parade, the Moorlang favorite at 3-1. She could be a little bit lower. She could be a little higher. So Street's the horse in here that really messed with me with making a line because her dirt race was not that great. But, boy, she's running great right now on the turf. So 3 deep in race 3 with the 1, 5, and 10. We single Martini Kid, and there's a big spread in the 5th. 1, 4, 8, 9, 10, 13, and the 15. Sparty who draws in.
All right, let's take a look here at race 2. I go with the favorite on top. But let's start here with the 10, Laddie Liam. We have a video spotlight of Laddie Liam, a big, impressive maiden score of September 20th here at Laurel Park. Let's check out that video spotlight of Laddie Liam, a 2-year-old colt by Golden Lad here for Hugh McMahon.
I tell you, just moving well in hand here past the quarter pole, gets set down and finds a very inviting seam along the rail at the top of the stretch. But watch Laddie Liam, the final 16th of a mile. I mean, you see the short comment. Bill and I, we don't give out eager too much, but when we do, these horses usually come back and run well, just blowing away. It's going to widen here in the final 16th of a mile and a mile driving. What a job before the race. If you went back and read the long comment, this horse, when he came out of the paddock, was really full of himself.
Horse he's been training really well. I watched him this morning, and he was a handful there with Barry. He's been getting on him regularly. He's just one of those horses that loves to train. I think he wants to go long. You know, the short, he can do it, but it's just because he's got, you know, raw talent. But eventually I'd like to run him long. I love the outside post for him because, you know, he's going to be able to get momentum without traffic because he needs that. Like I say, I don't think he's really a sprinter. So he'll be able to kind of, you know, get clearance there and hopefully get some momentum going into the race, and then when he gets into the stretch, I think that's where we're going to see him perform, God willing.
All right, so there's trainer Hugh McMahon, one of the good guys here in the sport, talking about Laddie Liam. When you heard the beginning of the soundbite, said the horse was a handful, so Laddie Liam training well.
And that's what he was last time coming out of the paddock. I made a comment. I usually don't do this, but the groom did a phenomenal job. He was rearing up, and the jock as well, keeping this horse composed and got him to the racetrack. He easily could have gotten away from some maybe a little bit of amateur handling or whatever, but I tell you, a great job by the groom and the jock that day. He was certainly ready to roll, and he proved it that afternoon. I think he's going to be really tough right back.
All right, so you have the 10 on top. I have the 3-1 morning line favorite on top here. The 6, Our Nation on Parade by Cal Nation here, a homebred for, this is Maryland bred by John Williamson, was bought, private purchase after that impressive debut effort early September. Maiden special weight, snuck away at 12-1, but went right to the front, just got beat a neck by a sharp winner, Double Crown, who was also bought out of that race. Our Nation on Parade, a full sibling to a Parade of Nations, who's won a bunch of money. This horse, a big buyer in that debut. You think that number holds up here against Stakes Company, Keith?
Yeah, he's got to step up in here, and he was a homebred, and as you said, purchased out of that race, and he does have to face winners in here, but if you're a buyer speed figure person, 76 in there really jumps off the page, and it is, I think, important to note there was only one horse that ran back out of that race so far and finished a good second, so we'll see how productive it is, but I think this horse is a world of talent.
Yeah, I think the number does hold up, Stan. You're talking about it was Whiskey U has come back and run some middle 50s, and so the way this horse won was well clear of that one. I don't know if he necessarily needs the lead either. He just might have been that naturally fast that day against that field. He may have a rating gear as well, but showed a lot of talent in debut. Double Crown, that's good information. I didn't know. I was wondering what happened to Double Crown. So it was sold. Okay.
Yep. How about So Street? So Street's a stakes winner on the turf for Jamie Ness, a 2-year-old by Street Magician. You get Trevor McCarthy, one of our top riders. He hadn't run a bad race except for the race late July. Since then, he's fired 3 big efforts.
Yeah, well, looking at his last 3 races on the turf, they were all very good. And last time out, he was really hard ridden out of the gate to get to the lead. That was clearly the intention. Yes. Now, there is some dirt sprint pedigree in there. In his debut, he was kind of chasing and then pulled away. He won very impressively first time out at Pimlico on the dirt. I did find a stat. Usually stats for this barn across the board seem to be very good, but winners last time out on the going turf to dirt, just 2 for 29 in the last 5 years. So I kind of took a little bit. I used him in 4th. I certainly respect what he's done. We'll see how he handles the main track once again today.
Yeah, some other speedy horses just to the outside as well. What's going to happen? He better come away alertly, or he could find himself shuffled back.
All right, we all like the 8, Tommy Shelby. He's run 3 big races. Acacia, you have this Super 99 2-year-old on top.
I do. Well, Super 99s, they tend to be precocious, and I watched all of his races back a couple of times to try to get a feel for him. And in the stake last time out at Delaware, he's been exposed against stakes competition. It was just a field of 5, and he was towards the back of the pack. He's a horse that likes to close, and sometimes when you have those small, compact fields, horses tend to get into more trouble, it seems, than when there's big fields, and he didn't have a chance to really get a lot of momentum. Today, in this bigger field, I think he's going to have plenty of pace to run at. He was just kind of settled along the rail. He's not the sharpest gate horse, so maybe now getting a touch more distance at the 6 furlongs and some pace to run at.
Yeah, he had plenty left. 2 races back. You see the short comment ridden out, and he will. I think Pimentel's a great rider. Just settle back, judge the pace up in front of him. Let the race kind of maybe fall into his lap this afternoon. That winner was a pretty good horse. It was a Pecoraro horse. It was on the improve. The run of 76 prior.
All right, so Julian Pimentel rides the 8, Tommy Shelby. Could be a big day for Pimentel. Let's turn the page here. Another stakes race for you in race 3. It's the $100,000 Maryland Million Distaff for filly mares 3 and up, 7 furlongs on the main track. This race sponsored by Harford County. The 1, Anna's Bandit's going to be a strong, popular favorite in here. 7-5 morning line favorite. Let's show you the video from mid-August right here at Laurel Park. A big win against Open Allowance Company this day, Keith.
Yeah, I tell you, Pete's really, really good field, a money and allowance field, including Majestic Reason. A little loop and swoop here, 4 and 5 wide from Anna's Band, and she's going to try to make it 5 in a row today. The 7 furlong distance is right up her alley. Look at that 7 for 10. I tell you, Majestic Reason, I thought was going to come back and get her here, but no. Digging in quite gamely as Anna's Band.
And boy, has she really turned into something good this year. She really has. I mean, last year in the Maryland Million Distaff, she was 3rd behind My Magician and Crab Cakes, and looks like she's back for some vengeance this year.
All right, so I have her on top, but there's another tough filly in here, the 5. She's a chance, too. Let's show you her video spotlight from late June. A big win. This was, this year, big win against second-level allowance company. She's in front this day, and she wins by almost 7 with a big 83 buyer.
Yeah, was claimed out of this race going into the barn of Mark Reed right now for Smart Angle LLP, and look at the works leading into this. Man, they maybe had this in mind all along. Got away with a soft opening quarter, Stan. That was the only thing that kind of worried me, which might have enhanced this performance. But I tell you, once Sheldon S at the top of the stretch, it was all she wrote. She goes ahead and widens by 6 and some change. So she's a chance, too. She has shown her rating gear in the past. Will she be able to do it at 7 and keep going against some of these other quality sprinters? Remains to be seen. But, boy, it looks like she's training like a bear up to this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and Alex Centron rides for Mark Reed. So the 1, Anna's Bandit, going to be a tough favorite here. The 5, she's a chance to. I use in the exact. To the 6, I didn't use at all. Acacia, you have a 12-1 shot on top here. The 6 lay weekend. First off the claim for Mark Reed.
This is my price play of the day. I kept going back to this mare, and I actually loved her last time out in Saratoga, and she was beaten by a pretty solid horse in Jump for Joy. I just thought that she really looked the part and wanted a little bit longer than 6 furlongs. She's going to get that today at the 7. She's run well here at Laurel at a mile in the past, so hopefully this might be the right move for her, and Mark Reed's certainly good off the claim, and I think Julio Correa is a really talented rider too, doing well.
All right, Keith, you have a long shot in your exact, the 15-1 there on the 10 Elevated Vision for Schoenthal and Sheldon Russell.
Yeah, Schoenthal, he's no stranger to jumping in a big price. I just went on the go back. You go back to December 29th, my birthday of 2018. We got the better of Anna's Bandit, turf to dirt, shortening up, a little bit of a freshening. I think this horse can make a run into it.
All right, so they all have to beat Anna's Bandit in the Maryland Million Distaff. Let's turn the page back to the turf here. Big field and race 4 brought to you by Sagamore Rye. We're going 9 furlongs on the Dahlia Turf Course. Rail at 52 feet is a $60,000 starter stakes. I like the 1 Martini Kid on top here. Vargas going to get a nice ground-saving trip on this 6-year-old son, a Lemon Drop Kid for trainer Michael Moore.
Yeah, this is a horse I think he's really, on paper, the one to beat. I mean, this horse actually has a fantastic pedigree, too, being the full brother to Somali Lemonade, but has been productive on both surfaces. Sticking with the turf certainly can get the distance, I think, to the inside.
Yeah, that was a tougher group last time than what he faces today. That was a very good group of 2 other than optionals. Just missed in there, only beaten 3 parts of a length. I think just it gets a perfect tracking trip. Covered up a little bit, should be fairly close all the way, and grind it out late at a shorter price, 3-1, 5-2 when it's all said or done.
Acacia, your top pick, the 7 Here's to Mike's been very honest this year. 6 for 6 in the money this year for trainer Jamie Ness.
And I like the little bit of the stretch out in distance. I think this is perhaps a little bit tougher company top to bottom, so that's going to be the task here, and he's just been knocking on the door, but I actually really like him at this distance. I think he's got some solid races on the go back too.
All right, let's turn the page. Race 5 is going to kick off a middle pick 4. We're going 7 furlongs on the main track, $50,000 starter stakes here for the Colts and Geldings. I go with the 4 on top here, worth his salt. Trevor McCarthy aboard this 5-year-old for Jamie Ness. A sharp win going 2 turns last out at Delaware against Starter Allowance Company. I love the little cutback to 7 furlongs today for the 4, worth his salt.
And he's got quite a bit of natural speed too. Picks up Trevor McCarthy again, who won with this horse aboard at Parks a couple starts back. So this one absolutely, I think, makes a world of sense. Crush It first off the claim has been in solid form, and I think fits here and coming back to Laurel, but probably the tactical speed of Worth His Salt, the one to beat.
Yeah, I think the only thing with Worth His Salt is, can he run those? He hasn't run those big numbers back to back. That's my one little, knock against him. He's got tactical speed. It's a 7 furlong distance. I like him a little bit better at a mile, maybe a mile and a 16th. I like Crush It as a bomb shot in here. We're going to get 10, 12-1 on this one. The horse we know likes Laurel. Look at that, 3 for 7, yeah. 2 for 2 at the distance. And synthetic to dirt has been a good move for Caruso over the years. He's about 26% with a positive ROI. Probably just, absolutely saw this horse in for the nickel. Let's take this shot.
All right, so nice 10-1 shot there for Keith with the 8. Crush It. How about the Great Provider on the outside at 5-1 with the X-Man riding for trainer Michael Merriman. First off the claim, the Great Provider, a 10-time winner here at Laurel Park. He's going to show speed from the outside. Can he get to 7 furlongs, though? He's been second twice going 7 furlongs.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. He's stretching out a bit from the 5.5. He does have speed. There could potentially be, I'm not sure quite so much with the turn back in distance, but free to trump right outside of him. Does have to get position from the outside post. And Keith mentioned this when putting up his pick 4 ticket. Sparty draws in first time out for Lacey Gaudette, and this is a horse I think you have to take another look at. I ended up including him in my superfecta because he really could be a player in here.
Yeah, I would have thrown him in there. And if you're looking for a bomb, because I think there's going to be plenty of speed in here chasing the Great Provider, you've got all those chasers that to me look like they might flatten out a little bit. throw in Earned It. Forest Boyce, I think, is just going to sit back, relax, lay about 8-12 out of it, and leave in a 3/8 pole. This horse might make a steady progression and boost that try-in super for you.
All right, so big field there. Race 5, back to stakes action here. Race 6, the $125,000 Maryland Million Ladies for filly mares 3 and up. 9 furlongs on the Dahlia Turf Course rail at 52 feet. Let's take a look at the 7-5 favorite. My best bet of the day, the one My Sister's Sledge, your defending champion in this race. Let's show you her win. Well, no, it wasn't her win. Let's show you her horror trip of a show late September. Here you go, Keith.
You've got that one. We're going to pick this one up, leaving about the 3/8 pole, and gets position, not in the clear, really not traveling, bad at all right now, getting a clean trip. The duel is going on up in front. They really picked it up, started picking up the pace around the final turn, but My Sister Sledge is not able to get outside. You're going to see there with the black cap, the orange sleeves, and watch this. Every step of the way from the 3/16 pole past the 8th pole, and the leaders are just getting further in front right now. Just nothing left to do. Packs it in a little bit late, but willingly to the wire. Wait for another day, and that day is today. And what's she going for, a 3rd straight in this one? I think.
Yeah, third straight win in the ladies. Yeah. And I'm not sure if we have the Julian Pimentel soundbite as well.
Yeah, we do. Pimentel talking about this 5-year-old mare by Etch.
She win twice. Looking for the 3rd one. She's really nice. You can put her wherever she wants. It's just about the pace. Whatever. If they're going too fast, then she'll be a little farther back. And they're going slow, then she'll be close. So she's very professional. She'll do what she has to.
What would it mean to you to see her get a win in the Maryland Million for the 3rd year in a row?
Well, it'll be very special for everybody, I think, for the owners, the trainer, and obviously for me. She's a really, really special filly.
Yeah, the Banner family, they've done a great job campaigning this mare. She lightly raced, an 8-time winner. And she's your deserving strong favorite to do it 3 years in a row.
Yeah. She is, and I got a chance to talk to Julian a little bit as well about the trip last time, and he said exactly that she just never got a chance to run. She was never comfortable. But I think we're going to get to see the right My Sister Sledge today. And John and Cheryl Banner, of course, having bred this horse, she's really been something special for them, I'm sure, and been really knows how to show up on this day.
No doubt. Pretty good field there too. You see, Not a Prada Prize, Kalania, I think is a graded stakes kind of a mare. So the field was strong, but an improving type, and a horse that hasn't minded the stretch out is Ghoul's Night Out. We're getting a Halloween season now, right?
Yeah, the hunchback.
So Ghoul's Night Out, your little hunch play of the day. For Hammy Smith, this horse is tactical. It's the 1/8 I worry about, because there are some other tactical horses in here. Something Magical. Zonda draws in. They're all going to be forward. I think they converge, which is going to set it up for that run of My Sister Sledge.
All right, 6 races in, still 6 more to go, including the big feature, the Maryland Million Classic. Let's get a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet.
All right, welcome back. Let's get rolling here. Back to stakes action. Race 7, the $100,000 Maryland Million Lassie for 2-year-old fillies, going 6 furlongs on the main track. We kick off the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 here in race 7. No carryover. They hit her for $10,000 yesterday, Acacia. So we start fresh today in the Pick 6.
They certainly do, but just a 20-cent wager. Here's my ticket. Was not able to find a single in here, as I think there's a lot of wide open races, but I tried to keep it pretty affordable, $57.60. You do start with the 2-year-old fillies in the Maryland Million Lassie, which I actually like starting with 2-year-old races. See how horses are acting, see how the board is playing. A little bit later on, I did spread in race number 10, or at least use 3 horses, which is the Maryland Million Classic. I'm not using Saratoga Bob, the defending champ, trying to beat him, in fact. So hopefully we can get a few prices in today's sequence.
All right, starts in race 7, 2-year-old fillies for $100,000, 3/4 on the main track. Let's take a look. Let's start with the 12 here. Hello, Beautiful. Let's show you her big win late July right here at Laurel Park, going 5.5 furlongs. Here's Hello, Beautiful, a 2-year-old filly by Golden Lad. She's in front here, Keith, and she just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, Turf to Dirt has been a good angle for Brittany Russell of late. Boy, about 40% with a positive ROI. And this day, Hello Beautiful looked great on the racetrack. And coming out in the post parade really caught my eye. And look at it's just able to dictate. Got away with a quarter. 21-4. That's not getting away with anything. That's blazing out there at Laurel Park. Sheldon goes ahead and sets her down here at the top of the stretch, and she really responds going away. Kept to task. She draws outside today. There's some other speed inside of her. It's going to see if they're just going to go or they're going to try to rate her.
All right, well, Brittany Russell, young up-and-coming trainer here in Maryland. Here's what Brittany had to say about her 2-year-old filly.
She's doing really well, Stan. We opted to give her a little more time from that last race into the Maryland Million because this was always the goal after she broke her maiden, of course. We've always been high on her. I thought she might be better on the grass at one point. She's just kind of, the way she kind of travels, she just kind of doesn't pick her feet up real high. But, you know, she ran really big on the dirt when she broke her maiden, which kind of changed our changed our feelings about that. And she's shown that she can handle both, of course. But she's doing great, and we've worked her a couple times since that last race, and she's taken every step forward, and she's right where we want her.
All right, so there's Brittany with the newborn baby girl that her and Sheldon have. And this filly with that speed on the outside, she's likely to get a nice trip. She hasn't run a bad race. She might run her lifetime best today.
She certainly could.
All right, so I use her second. I have the 8 on top here. Gifted Heart. She's proven, very proven. She won an allowance race here after her debut score, so she's 2 for 2 here at Laurel Park. A good second last out against Stakes Company up at Delaware. So this is a nice Super 99 filly for Phil Schoenthal. Javion Toledo gets aboard today for the first time.
And she certainly is, and there's the incredible story, I think, attached with this horse as well, with Phil's son Emerson, who did need a heart transplant, and the story behind the name, if you haven't had a chance to hear about it, really is incredible. So a lot of emotion, I know, attached to this filly, who's been very good. Her maiden first time out was really impressive, and I like that she handled, even though it was on a muddy track going 7 furlongs last time out, which I don't think she particularly cared for. She was super game that day. So I think getting back to a fast track, she's in really good form right now, and I really think that she fits in here.
And Frank Vespi up there with the Racing Biz had told me yesterday, I guess had talked to Phil and said maybe the horse was affected a little bit by the lights as well. He talked to the jockey, and that can happen up there. It was making a move, a winning move, actually got the lead, but dead game, shortening up in distance. Boy, you got to be pulling for Gifted Heart, though, if you have any kind of heart at all with that great story. So I like the 3 sticking together, who chased Hello Beautiful around in her debut back in July. The last race at Charlestown, I think a little bit of a pass on that one, but visually the 2-back try really caught my eye. I think she's going to sit just off of it and make a strong move into this pace with the Lasix on this afternoon.
Yeah, first time Lasix. She's by Maryland's leading sire, Great Notion, so I like the 3. We all like the 3 there in race 7. Let's turn the page. Late pick 5 starts in race 8. No carryover, but as always, that industry low 12% takeout on all the pick 5s here at Laurel Park. I have a ticket for the late pick 5. Let's check it out here. Starts with the Maryland Million Turf, and I go 4 deep in this race. So look at, there's my ticket. I go 4 deep in races 8, 9, and 10. Looking for some prices. I like the 3 Noble Addiction at 8-1 here in the Maryland Million Turf. In race 9, the Maryland Million Sprint, I like Taco Supreme, the 2. At 10-1, I'm 4 deep there in the Classic. Saratoga Bob, Clubman, they'll be tough, but Forest Fire and Torture Truth going to be right there. I single on the Mark Reed horse, 7-2 shot. Yesterday's plan with Julio Correa, the 8 in race 11. Then I go 1-5 there in race 12. You can study all of our tickets and picks for today on the website, laurelpark.com. Let's take a look at race 8, the $125,000 John Deere Maryland Million Turf, 1 mile on the Dahlia Turf Course rail at 52 feet. Let's start with one of the favorites, the 1 Street Copper. I use second. Keith, you like Acacia. You have this 4-year-old son of Street Magician on top. Let's show you the big win early October against Upper Level Allowance Company. Here's the start.
Well, this was about a nightmare trip as you could possibly have. I think checked repeatedly, a little bit, even an understatement, right,
Yeah,
Keith?
sometimes we just don't have enough room, in our little format to get all the trouble that goes on. But this is an issue with Street Copper. Steadied along early, 2-back. Last time out, check repeatedly, a little bit ranked, tough to place there and get this settle for Centano. Centano's back.
Right,
look at this.
Yeah.
And for this horse to have enough energy to come back late amazed me. I was like, watching the stretch, I'm like, there's no way this horse is going to come back and win it. But man, he just kept coming and coming and coming. Look at this, into the backstretch, still steadying, finds a clear path through the final eighth of a mile, though, and is going to be able to get up by a nose over Dover Cliffs, a pretty good turf horse in his own right.
All right, so I have him on top. I think Centeno gets a beautiful ground-saving trip here. The Street Magicians have really they've been on a roll on the turf recently. So it's a nice homebred by R. Larry Johnson and trainer Mike Chunvetter. They campaigned Street Magician, and they've turned him into a real nice stallion here in Maryland. So the 1 Street Copper is going to be tough, but I go to the far outside here, the 12 Taxable Goods for owner, breeder Lynn Ashby. Mark Ashby, the owner, another 4-year-old by Street Magician Jose Garcia will ride. This horse in very good form. A big 91 buyer, just got beat a neck in the find going a mile and a 16th here back in August, and he's run a couple big races at Park since then.
Yeah, I mean, certainly last time out, Pumpkin Rumble's a very good horse that he beat him in that race, and he's been solid. He's kind of been knocking on the door. Was beaten as the big favorite at Parks 2 starts back to be second, but he's got tactical speed and is in very good form right now. I thought that race at Laurel where he was on the lead was probably one of his more potent ones.
Yeah, I think they'll let him roll, get position early, maybe sit just off the pace before trying to make that run in the far turn. The only knock is that outside post. He's going to be able to overcome it. He did it, though, a couple races back from the 10 post. So now he's definitely a user in here.
All right, you have a nice 6-1 shot on top there, Keith.
Yeah.
Cannon's Roar by Orientate gets McCarthy aboard for Dale Capuano.
Just an improving sort. I think he's going to slip away 5, 6, 7-1 when it's all said and done. Really, for him to have enough left last time, he just missed getting me. Beat 3/4 of a length, but was used hard early 4 wide to get into position. He's moving onwards and upwards right now for Dale Capuano.
How about the 9, Love You Much? By Not for Love, Maryland Million's all-time leading sire for Maryland Million winners. Jorge Riaz rides his 5-year-old for Ferris Allen. What a year the Love You Much is having now. I know he tried this race last year, and it didn't go very well. He didn't run very well. It was on a yielding turf course. He was only a 4-year-old, but the winter break certainly did this horse some good. He's matured. He's a nice 5-year-old. Here's what trainer Ferris Allen has to say about Love You Much, stretching out to 2 turns once again today.
Well, he's been a good horse for us all along, and he's matured, and he's doing better this year than he did last. He's just a more relaxed horse this year, so we're hoping that this year he'll be able to stretch out to this mile for the turf.
All right, so there you heard Ferris talking about his maturity. He's more a composed horse, and he's fired some big efforts. A big win last out against 2 other than Allowance Company, and stretching out to the mile today. I think Riaz gets a nice stalking trip on this horse.
You know, sometimes that's the key, too, and sometimes in the way our game is, we don't get to see horses who really develop a lot later and hit their best stride at 4 or 5, and Love You Much is certainly doing that. He hasn't raced since August, but he's in good form. He looks like he's been working steadily, and good to hear Ferris Allen saying that he's gained maturity and is really handling things a lot better than last year.
And I think he's going to like the firm turf course a lot better than the yielding last year.
This is kind of like a little move like Ben's Cat. You know, the similar running style. He's no Ben's Cat, but I mean, the similar running style, sprinting on the turf. Okay, they're kind of stalkers, just make that move from just off of it. Now we're going to try to stretch it out to a mile. Boy, the run's going to have to be timed perfectly. Yep. I think he's going to try to throw a knockout punch at some point, maybe from the 3/8 pole to the quarter pole. Can he get the mile? It's the biggest concern.
All right, so one of our biggest fields of the day, the John Deere Turf there in race 8 to kick off the late pick 5. Late pick 4 starts in race 9. We're going 6 furlongs on the main track. The expressbet.com Maryland Million Sprint, $100,000 stake here for 3-year-olds and upward. Scratch to 1 Confessor. Trainer Damon Dildavico has one of the favorites in here. The 6 Lakai at 5-2. He also has the 10-1 shot Taco Supreme. The 2. Here's what the veteran Maryland trainer Damon Dildavico had to say about his 2 sprint horses.
He's been very consistent. We've followed the match series race, which he won again this year. And we only got 1 win during the series, traveling from track to track. Had some ups and downs with our races, but all in all, he just keeps hanging in there. He always runs his race.
You also have the up-and-comer, if you will, in Taco Supreme, great name. And first of all, where did the name come from?
I have no idea. I assume Mr. Frock named him, but yeah, he's something. He's a giant kid, and he's goofy as heck. And another one, he's just so big and powerful. If we can just kind of take it step by step and let him kind of fill out a little bit and mature and do all that stuff, he's another one that could really keep us looking good. When I was working as a groom for Dale, it was always like the day. I wasn't going to rub a Preakness horse. We had our Maryland Million thing, and that was just always a goal for us. And the fact that we've been able to win 5 of the races, I'm very proud of that. So it's just something that we look forward to every year.
And I believe when Damon worked for Dale, I think he rubbed in the Curl, who pulled off the big upset in the Maryland Million against Safely Kept one year. So Damon, he's paid his dues. He has a couple nice horses in here. Let's get right to the video spotlight of Lakai. How about the effort in the Frank Whiteley last April? He dropped a hammer on him this day, fires a 108 Beyer speed figure.
Yeah, and you see who he took care of this day. The match is back, the rematch, I guess. These guys are like prize fighters going at it. Lakai and Lewisfield, but Lakai's going to do a little bit better this afternoon, makes a big bold move 4 wide into the stretch, and Lakai is just going to roll on by and go clear. And I tell you, his last 2 races I've watched, the race at Parks, it really was a tough trip. Last time out, another one, wasn't real comfortable and really didn't fire home at Monmouth. I think today is the day. We're 3rd after a little bit of a break, and we've got a stat to show you as well for Damon with this kind of move, and it's a good one.
Well, here's the stat. There we go, Pat.
How about that? The last 2 years, Stan. 8 for 23, 35%. It's 16 for 23 in the money. Dirt Sprint's 3rd off of a layoff. Really good ROI of close to 350. I think Lakai today with Call Paul just to his outside, he'll let him go. Lewisfield, pretty quality speed as well. He's fresh. He's going to be up on the edge. And even Taco Supreme and one more great time. I think Lakai, if he can just avoid any trouble the first 1/8 of a mile, it's going to be his race to lose. He'll settle and circle and get it done.
All right, we have him on top. Acacia, you have the 9-5 favorite on top here. Call Paul by Frisian Fire. He's in awfully good form right now for trainer Jason Service.
Yeah, he is. And I remember I spoke to Manny Franco when they tried the turf, and he said it's not what he wants to do at all. So scratch that race, and then he was running against Grade 1 Company 2 starts back, and then you're left with some really solid races. I know he won the Swale at 7/8, but I think he's much more potent at 6 furlongs, actually. He does have speed, and I know that he's just a 3-year-old, and he did win against Older at Delaware last time out. He's going to have to run his best race today because he's running against some really good horses. This is actually my favorite race on the card. I think Taco Supreme is a real up-and-comer, and I'm really excited as to what we're going to get to see from him. But hopefully Call Paul brings his best race today, and this just might be the good spot for him.
Okay. All right, so top Maryland-sired sprinters there in the Express Bet Maryland Million Sprint. Let's turn the page to big feature, race 10, the $150,000 Maryland Million Classic, 3-year-olds and upwards, sponsored by Capital Bank. We're going 9 furlongs on the main track. Last year's defending champion Saratoga Bob is in this race, but let's start with the morning line favorite, the 4 Clubman's having a big year. 5-year-old by Not For Love, Maryland Million's leading sire. Here's the big win last February right here at Laurel Park against Third Level Allowance Company.
I've seen it written a little bit. They're thinking this horse might be a little bit better as a 1-run sprinter. He can cover ground, no problem, and he's run against some quality horses of late and really hasn't embarrassed himself at all. Watch this move. He's going to be able to shift out and running late, just under a steady hand ride through the final 1/8 of a mile is Clubman. I'll forgive the race at Delaware. He is clearly the horse to beat in the Classic.
All right, big stakes win in the Maryland Coalition at Timonium back in late August. He won by almost 10 that day with an 89 Beyer speed figure, and this maybe didn't like the track up at Delaware. Might have bounced a little bit up there, but he ran behind Cord Makers. There's no Cord Makers in here, but Pimentel's on the favorite here. He's by Not For Love. How about this barn, Rudy Sanchez Solomon? What kind of year they have in here, Keith?
Phenomenal. You go against them at your peril is what you do.
All right, so I have them on top. Let's where are we going next here? Let's talk about Saratoga Pop, last year's winner. Jevion Toledo rides this 5-year-old by Frisian Fire for Katie Voss, a homebred for Katie and Bob Manfuso. A big win last year. It was his only time going 9 furlongs, so he's a perfect 1-for-1. Toledo is going to get a ground-saving trip. Now, he hasn't run since June 1st, so the question is he ready to go off this layoff? You see a 7-furlong workout, and then last Saturday a big 1-mile workout here at Laurel Park.
Well, Katie Voss had told me at the draw, given his size and how big a horse he is, if you've seen him, it's tough to find company when you're working at 7 furlongs in the morning. So that he's just kind of been going along, and she had hoped to get a prep race for him. Unfortunately, the race didn't go, so he wasn't able to get a prep in before coming back in the Classic. She did think that he was actually efficient on both surfaces, thus the try on the turf last time out where they had discovered he had actually had a bit of a a throat problem. So they gave him the time off, and so that's the reason for the layoff. This might be a stepping stone to a big next year or a continuation of 2019 for him. I took the wait and see, but the utmost respect of the job they've done with him and his really tough win last year.
Absolutely.
All right, so I use him in my exacta. You have the 7 on top here. Forest Fire, another son of Frisian Fire. He's won 2 in a row up at Parks for John Service. Paco Lopez in town to ride.
I was handicapping this race in bunches, and I guess I gave the Service Brothers rolling double here. But this is a horse that's been in good form. He's stretching out in distance. He hasn't gone this distance before, but he's got some speed to him as well. And watching his last couple of races, he's really, really tough. And so I like that. I like that digging in. He's got some good horses that he's running in here against today. Really, really intrigued by Torch of Truth. I think he's going to be a really interesting one in here, who's been a good claim for Jamie Ness as well.
Yeah, going back to Forest Fire, it'll be interesting to see Paco just goes ahead and sends on maybe a little bit of a heavier surface up at Parks as well. Maybe a little bit more bounce than this Laurel Park surface might carry him a long way. And as you said, when he meets the challenge, he keeps on going.
All right, so we talked about last year's winner, Saratoga Bob. How about a long shot play here in the Classic? Do That Dance, a 6-year-old by Preakness winner Louis Couture's. A big long shot last year in the Classic, and he pulled off a big second behind Saratoga Bob in the Classic. Ferris Allen and Burning Daylight Farms, they claimed him for $25,000 early September down at Colonial. With this race in mind, here's what Ferris Allen has to say about his long shot, Do That Dance.
Well, we like the idea of putting in a claim for this horse for $25,000 to shoot for this race or possibly the turf, and we're happy how he is since he's come to us. We ran him 1.5 miles on the grass. After we claimed him, he ran an even race in that. But last year he ran a powerful race in this race itself and was second to Saratoga Bob. And I think the race has come up similarly this year. So although he's a long shot on paper, we think he's got a chance.
All right, so there's trainer Ferris Allen. He's won over 2,000 races, and he thinks Do That Dance. A 6-year-old's made almost $250,000, and you get a veteran rider like Horacio Caramanos.
Oh, absolutely. That horse encountered a little bit of trouble last year, too, in mid-stretch. Had to alter course and again came rolling late to just miss. But you're going to get a price on the day. I do think this edition is a little bit tougher than last year, though.
Yep. All right, so a big 11-horse field. Maryland sired horses in the Maryland Million Classic. Saratoga Bob, he's up against it. Clubman's going to be tough. So is Forest Fire, and we both have Clubman, and you have Forest Fire. So all right, good luck in the Classic. Still 2 more races to go. 2 minutes. Let's do it here. Race 11. You're going to kick off the late daily double, 7 furlongs main track. Nice $50,000 starter stakes. I go my key horse in this race. All right, Acacia, you have him on top as well. Yesterday's plan. A big second first off the claim with some freshening. Came off about a 2-month freshening late September, and a big fast closing second going 6 furlongs. Looks like he'll like the 7 furlongs today.
Yeah, I like him at 7 furlongs. Obviously, his race 2 starts back at a mile was huge, and I know it's tough to claim off of Claudio Gonzalez, but you do have a barn that's very good off the claim as well, and I thought follow that up with a good race last time out. I think you've got hashtag Selfie, who did win this starter race last year, actually. Now with new connections, he's going to be tough, and Reign Supreme's in solid form as well. Finished behind yesterday's plan.
I'll take a little shot on a Kieran McGee exact. And my Chest of Charm goes right to the front with Almodovar, and hashtag Selfie just throw the last out, shorting back in distance. The try to Timoni was good. Showed a rating gear sprinting. I like that. It's going to be poised just from the outside. I think this one will get the jump on some of the closers.
And I had a last-minute rider change on the one My Chest of Charm. Make the rider Alex Cintron. Cintron on the one My Chest of Charm. Let's turn the page. 1 more to go. Big field on the turf to wrap things up today. We're going 1 mile on the all-along turf course. Maiden special weight 3 and up. The 5 Stand My Ground gets blinkers on today for the first time. Weston Hamilton rides this Temple City 3-year-old for Judy Di Natale. I have him on top here at 7-2.
Yeah, it certainly makes a lot of sense. I think the blinkers on is going to help this gelding for sure. Got the pedigree by Temple City. I took the 3 Street Silence. Again, I think a strict pedigree play in here for this one, plus getting added ground with a good work tab at Fair Hill. Not to mention did have trouble in that last race, of only one on turf in special weight company.
Yeah, if you're looking for a little bit of a price, the 4 Anti-Poison. I think with the blinkers back back on, a little trouble last time out. This horse will stretch out and give you a little thrill at a price.
All right, so big field on the world-class turf course to wrap things up on Jim McKay, Maryland Million Day. That's it. We're out of time. Big show. Lots of stuff. Hopefully we have some winners today. Good luck. Maryland's Day at the Races is here. First race coming up at 12 o'clock.